Just a pilot in his cockpit seated. Black leather on his ass, keep a hustler heated.
Hello and welcome to the channel. So today what we're gonna be doing something that has been requested by quite a few people, and I have to get it done before I get the supercharger on. So what we're gonna be doing is a MPG test. Now I made a few different changes to the car since the last test, which I think the car got like 26 miles per gallon. And this is just a standard loop type test. I go across the Beltway in Houston, which ends up being like 88 miles. I did the test in the WRX with stage 1, before and after stage 1. And I did the test when I first got the Charger Scat Pack, and I think it did do pretty good, like 26, but now I have wider tires. So it had 245s all around before. Now it has 315s in the rear and 275s in the front, so I know that's going to definitely hurt the mileage. And I also have that wicker bill, and I have the roof spoiler that I just put on. So I'm not sure exactly how much those things are going to impact the mileage, but I can say from driving it around on the freeway, it definitely feels a lot worse. So I did get an oil change today, so don't worry about that. I wanted to make sure I got that done before I did this test as well. Drive another 80 miles. So the first thing I have to do is actually put plates on the car. I've been rolling around on Maryland temporary plates for the last, since I've had the car. And the ones on there now are actually like super expired. I think they expired like October or something. And I got an updated one, but I never actually ended up putting on the car. I never got pulled over or anything, so it didn't seem like a big deal. But I got new Texas plates on there. I have some vanity plates coming, and that'll hopefully be here in the next few weeks or month or something like that. So that'll be coming. So we're gonna put these plates on, and then we're gonna get started with the test. And it is cold out here. Oh, and I have a Phillips, and it's a flat. And I never put this kind of stuff on. They had it on, and I don't like having advertisements on my car. I know it doesn't bother some people, but it bugs me. So now I'm officially a Texan. This is a Texas car. So if you see here, this camera is actually excellent at low light. I have a, what is this? A Sony A6000 now that I'm shooting with. I shot with a GoPro for a while, and its low light is absolutely awful. But this is what I'm rolling with right now, and it's pretty expired, 2 months. Well, it's the 13th of January right now, so yeah, we're a bit expired. But anyway, this is all done. Got the new plate on. Now I got to put my new window sticker. There we go. Now I am completely legit. Well, except for the fact that I do not have a front plate on it, which I will not be putting on it because, well, for starters, I don't like the way the front plates look. It looks kind of lame. I like my current front end, which just looks nice, and if I put a plate, it would just look so lame. And I know you can get pulled over for it, but it's actually part of the strategy why I don't put a front plate on there. Typically, cops will not give you a ticket for not having a front plate. It's extremely rare. As a matter of fact, I don't think I've ever gotten a ticket for it, but they will pull you over for it. Actually, not really here in Texas, but in California, I used to get pulled over a whole lot, so think about that. And I got pulled over in cars like my Prius, so Texas just doesn't pull me over, and they especially don't pull over cars like this that are all loud. And I know that sounds crazy, but it really doesn't happen. And once I got my Cadillac, I started getting pulled over. Got pulled over 3 times in the Cadillac, no tickets. So that's kind of just a strange observation. Cadillacs obviously look more criminal or something. This car I don't get pulled over, but if I do get pulled over, I want to give them a nice, easy reason to pull me over. I don't want to be followed around for miles. Like, I'm sure a lot of you have experienced it, where you get followed around. They're trying to find a way to, a reason to stop you to make it a legit stop. They'll just follow you around. They'll look for something, and just not having a plate on there gives them like a nice, easy reason. If they want to pull you over, they can for the plate, and it's a completely legit stop. And they can ask you questions, see who you are, and I'm not knocking any cops for that, because typically you have to do it at times, whatever. But that's why I'm not going to put a front plate in. I don't like the way it looks, and I'm fine with being pulled over for it. And if I do happen to get a ticket for it, then I'll either pay the ticket or get one of those like sweet plate mounts that tuck under the car. But anyway, let's get started here. Now this is gonna be a nice almost midnight cold start. Now the cold starts in this are really loud, so I'm sure my neighbors will hate me. I try not to turn on the car needlessly at night and stuff, but obviously I have to right now. And the car is completely cold. It's like 36 degrees out, so this should be fun. Okay, I'm here at the gas station. I'm gonna go ahead and reset the trip meter now before I put gas in it. As you can see right now, I am at 10.6 miles per gallon. I just got gas earlier today, so it's pretty damn full. But I'm gonna just top it off anyway, just to make sure it's accurate. So I'm gonna go ahead and reset. And just as a quick note, I still have my trip meter A, which has the exact same mileage as the car. It's never been reset. And the lifetime average on the car is 15.6. And the other thing I wanted to just take a quick look at, and I just wanted to show you the tire pressures. So the pressure on the right's a little bit higher than the left, but it's all, you know, 34 to 37, pretty consistent range. So the real reason we're doing this test is, for starters, I have a supercharger coming. I really am curious to see what the supercharger does to the mileage. I mean, that's kind of an interesting test to me. What kind of mileage is it gonna get with the Pro Charger? Well, we'll have to find out, but the first thing we need to know is how much these tires, which are, like I mentioned earlier, the 315s in the rear, 245 in the front. Then I have my roof spoiler, and then I have the wicker bill. So this is gonna tell us how much these particular things are affecting the mileage, and not really everything. Not the supercharger, not yet at least. So I'm gonna fill this guy up. And I'm at pump 6, and this is the exact same thing I did last time. I'm gonna wait until it stops, and then wait 30 seconds, and then click it again. So it just stopped. As you can see, there's only 1.6 gallons that I put in. And sorry, my hand's shaking a little bit. It is cold. It's like 39, and I'll discuss that a little bit when I get into the car. Okay, so I waited 30 seconds and then clicked it again, and that is a total of 1.7 gallons that it put in. So when I come back, I'm gonna go to the same pump and use the same procedure. I know this trip is about 88 miles. I'm gonna drive at exactly 70 miles an hour. The last time I did this test, I made sure I didn't use the AC because I didn't want that to skew the results. This time, the AC is not an issue because it's 39 degrees outside. So I don't think that's gonna skew the results too much. I mean, it's really mostly gonna be about the tires. I'm obviously not gonna run the AC, I'm gonna run the heat, which doesn't impact mileage. I'm not gonna put it on auto heat because I don't want it to accidentally run the AC, because sometimes these cars do that, or at least I know like my wife's Honda does. It'll run the AC to lower the humidity and stuff, even when the heat's on. So I'm not gonna run any AC. I'm gonna make sure that's off and just manually run the heat. Yeah, we'll see. So it's gonna be important that I calmly get to the freeway, and then I'm gonna drive exactly 70 miles an hour. One thing I'll just say for now, like kind of a prediction, from driving this car around, it sucks I'm stuck at this light, by the way. But from driving this car around, like on the freeway, I drove it before the tires and everything, and after, the mileage is definitely worse. I don't know if it's, my guess is it's gonna get 23. That's gonna be my official guess. We'll see what it actually ends up being, but this is really a test. I mean, if you're thinking about getting big tires on your car, you should know how much, you know, that they will impact the mileage, and this is gonna be how much, or at least one example of how much. Okay, getting on the freeway now. I got people tailgating me because I'm not accelerating like crazy. All right, we're gonna bring her up to 70 miles an hour and lock it in at that speed, and then we'll go from there. Now, I usually use my adaptive cruise, but I'm not going to this time. I'm just gonna use the normal cruise, and that's because I don't want it like hitting the brakes or anything when it needs to slow down. I'll control all that myself. All right, 70 miles an hour. I'm gonna adjust my climate control. I'm gonna take it off of auto. There we go, so we're all set. And see, the AC button just stays on by default, so it runs the AC if it needs to. I'm gonna turn that off. So now we have no AC. The heated steering wheel and seats is on. I don't really want that on, so I'm going to turn those off. Little bit of power. I don't think it would even possibly affect the mileage, but I just don't want it on. So now we're just going to go and see how she does. Okay, just gonna give a little bit of an update now. We have now driven 47.2 miles, and we're at 22.3 miles per gallon. Now, on the previous test I ran, the computer's mileage was like dead on. It was like 26.36. versus 26.3 that the computer said, or something like that. So they were like within a tenth of a mile per gallon, or actually a few hundredths of each other. So I have every reason to believe that this is going to be pretty accurate. So right now it's looking like it's going to be in the low 22s, but we still got another 40 miles about to go. So we'll see if that changes at all. But just a little bit of an update. Alright, just another little update. We're now at 62.2 miles and still at 22.2 miles per gallon. So I'm just
definitely taking up a lot of my time.
Watching some street speed.
I think I missed like 3 uploads.
Because this is a long, boring drive. Listening to street speed. So yeah, it just seems like everything's pretty good. So you can see the temp outside. This is Houston. It does get cold in Houston as well. 37 degrees I consider pretty damn cold, but you know, I know it gets a lot colder some other places, but to me that's cold. I'm not sure if I'm going to get pulled over, but I've been being hit with some Ka-band radar for a while, and I just got hit with lasers. So that's the problem with this test, because there's it's 65 around the beltway. I mean, look at that. Well, you got him like flying past me, so hopefully I'm good. But it's 65 around the beltway, so you know, doing 70, there's some sections that go down to 50, and there's a couple sections that go down to 60. So I have to maintain 70 through the whole thing, which isn't that excessive, but you know, the part that sucks is even though there's like a cop or something, I have to just hope that my speed isn't too high. I mean, 65, 70 and 65 isn't much, but you know, typically you slow down when you see a cop. I can't do that because I'm looking for accurate results. So yeah, I mean, that's Ka-band, which is, you know, pretty much exclusively police. There's like no Ka-band that you'll get hit with, at least here in Texas, that's not police. So I'm getting off the freeway now, completing the test. Let's hope that there's not a cop behind me. Or I guess I would be able to just shut it down, and the test would be pretty accurate still, as long as I don't leave the car running. So anyway, I'm not actively being pulled over, and it looks like the test is over because here is the gas station. So whether or not I get pulled over, because I'm still being hit by that radar, looks like the test is going to be successful. There was certainly a lot of people going faster than me, so that's all I got to say. Oh, there's a cop right there. It looks like there's probably someone else he's going after. but I saw him on the side of the freeway. So anyway, before we're done, 22.1 miles per gallon, 87.4 miles. So let's fill it up and see what the hand calculation is. And again, pump 6, right where I started. If anyone's curious, the fuel price here is $2.89.9. So here are our final numbers. 4.004 gallons. 87.4 miles and 22 miles per gallon. It was 22.1 earlier. So the real number that we need to go off of is 87.4. So let me just do the calculation real quick. 4.004. So that's 21.83 miles per gallon. And that's the car reads it read 22.1 and it's already dropping. That's how bad this car is idling. So yeah, there you have it. So it was 26.3 miles per gallon before, and now we're at 21.82 or 83. So this is our drop in miles per gallon. So that's our mileage drop from the wicker bill, the 315s in the rear and 275s in the front, and that roof spoiler. Now my guess would be that 90% of that drop came from just the tires. I mean, going from a 245 to a 315 is absolutely massive. Now you guys tell me what you think of that. That's a significant drop. I mean, I would imagine 90% of that is due to the tires and maybe a slight amount due to the wicker bill. Or maybe even like 15-20% due to the wicker bill, and this roof spoiler maybe a tiny bit too, but I'd say the vast majority of that was tires. Because after I put the tires on, that's when I noticed the big MPG hit on the highway. I used to be able to get on the highway and it would shoot up like crazy because it would get like 26, 27. Now my highway mileage is essentially 22, and the city's probably about what it was. You know, maybe it's slightly worse than the city, but highway is mainly where that big rolling resistance is going to hurt you. So kind of eye-opening. So anyone who's thinking about putting some 315s on their Charger or Challenger, just be ready for a pretty good mileage hit. I mean, almost 4.5 miles per gallon is on the highway is a good drop. I mean, 26 was decent, 22 not so decent. It's just okay, not horrible. And you know, given what the car is and how much power it has, that's not bad at all. The real thing I'm curious to see now is how when I repeat this test with the supercharger and the car's making 700 horsepower, how is that going to affect the mileage? I went with the Pro Charger, you know, that being one of the reasons. So it's just on the freeway and stuff, the boost is going to stay really low or non-existent, and hopefully it'll keep the mileage up and just kind of keep the wear on the engine down. Anyone care to guess what the mileage is going to be with the supercharger? Because that's one of the first things I'm going to have to do with it, because I am crazy curious now. So that's it. If you guys want to see that test, be sure to subscribe and like this video if you liked it. And that's it. So peace.
Just a pilot in his cockpit seated. Black leather on his ass, keep a hustler heated. Weed is engaged in the pavement. Rubber escorts like I'm seeking arrangement. Push the gas, escalate the gauges, escalate hits on the cam girls' pages, blazes and hit 'em with